Good morning, my brothers and sisters, on this episode number 183. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and play. I am one of your four hosts, the Brazilian mountaineer and transition ninja, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the judge of the jury and the executioner of fake news and spoilers, Patrick Novacell.
I am loving your energy tonight.
Woo!
We missed that.
Keep it up.
Yeah. On his left and my right, the Rocket League and beast of the East, who can make you laugh in 3 words or less or your money back, Ronnie Johantis.
I'm so tired. I have zero energy like to bring to this.
He's just like, stop it. Please stop it.
Sir, you need to calm down. And last but certainly not least, the man who's got music in his heart, Apex Legends on his brain, and La Coretta in his old stomacho, the final member of the GMG Quadfecta himself, Marc Boucher.
Take a breath, sir. Take a breath.
Woo! I'm trying. 3 breaths in, and I'm already, let's do this.
Yeah.
3 breaths or 3 coffees? My goodness.
Jeez. Have you ever seen the movie Meet the Robinsons with that lady with the coffee patches?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I get my inspiration.
Yes.
That and the squirrel from over the hedge. Over the hedge? Who says it like that? All right. Enough for being a weirdo. What's new news? Guys, it has been so long since it's been the 4 of us. I almost forgot we were in a podcast together. I'm so glad we're here. And I'm so glad we've been sing it. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna keep going.
That's
I was gonna add like a little beatbox or something.
That's all.
Not that would have
Does
worked.
that song have a beatbox?
It
You
should
can make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just like
Probably like
Step
a
it.
club version of it somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be great. All right. So this is the part I can't remember. It's been a while, and my dog's attacking the cord to my computer, and I'm a little nervous. But this is the part where we talk about our lives and what's been going on, right? Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
As
like
is
that.
tradition, I'm just gonna mess with the order. I'm gonna go first because I got the power. Doo doo.
What happened to you today?
What is happening?
I'm just saving it all for you guys. So here's what's been going down. Not really a whole lot. I've been gone for 2 weeks, but I realized today that I didn't have much to say. But then, then 20 minutes later, I'll still be talking. So we had a 5-day weekend last week, and this happens every year around this time because it's Carnival, aka Mardi Gras, aka the time leading up to Ash Wednesday. That weekend is always a 5-day weekend in Brazil. You get your Saturday, you get your Sunday, and then Monday through Wednesday is also a holiday for just about everybody, minus gas station workers, medical people, the really important people. All of us non-important people, we get the days off. So it's nice. And so how did we choose to spend it? We decided as a family to watch all 8 Harry Potter movies back to back to back to back.
Nice.
Whoa. It was nuts.
I cannot do that.
I don't really know how we did it.
That's a task right there.
We skipped meals. We stayed up till 3 a.m. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't skip meals. We didn't stay up that late. The kids actually stayed up pretty late a couple nights, but they were troopers, and it was a blast. We laughed. We cried. My kids always had their wands from Harry Potter World and Universal with them. At one point, my son lifted up his wand, paying respects to Redacted because of spoilers.
Yep.
But
That guy.
it was magical. Or girl. No
That's
spoilers, Marcus.
That's fair.
But it was really cool. Like introducing them finally to their next nerdy saga series, whatever. Like we did, during 2019, 2020, 2021, it feels like we've been all about Star Wars and we've watched pretty much everything. And now we've shifted over to Harry Potter, and we watched all those movies. And now for the last, I guess now few days, my kids are like Harry Potter everything. Like we sit at the table to eat a meal and they're like, you know what I think about Snape? Or you know what about Dumbledore? One morning, the kids are like, we can't stop thinking about Harry Potter, Dad. What do we do? I'm just like, it's just, it's life of being a nerd. Read the Bible, read a book, go take a walk in the neighborhood or something. Do something, clear your mind. But overall, it was a really fun time. We enjoyed it. On the gaming front, just been playing a little bit of Slay the Spire. Now, 2 weeks ago, I was playing too much of Slay the Spire, and I was kind of ignoring Uncharted 4. And yeah, I think it took me a week to get through like one chapter.
How dare you?
So I know I've
Priorities,
reformed
man.
my ways.
Priorities.
I've already forgotten about it.
I've learned my lesson, and I beat Uncharted 4 very recently, and moved on to Uncharted Lost Legacy. And so there will be a spoiler cast coming this week for those of you who are waiting with bated breath for the Uncharted Hexology spoiler cast. It is headed your way.
What is bated breath?
It's just a phrase people say. I don't really know what it means.
You just say it. You're just like, I heard people say it, so I'm going to say it too.
Yeah, so I'm going to say it too to sound really smart. I'm a smart man.
Baited,
Oh,
baited
wait.
basically means nervous or excited.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking like a fish when it's
Not-
going after a
not-
worm on a hook.
not
Bated
be-
breath.
Not, not BAIT.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. You got me there. You got me there, Marcus.
It's with
But yeah.
anticipation.
Wow. You really held that.
Well, yeah, because of
Yeah.
anticipation.
I know. I was on the edge of my seat.
I was too.
Well,
Speaking of being on the
slide
edge of our
back down
seat.
into your seat.
I want to hear, Marcus, what has been going on with you, my friend? How's life?
Are you already
How's
done?
love? Yeah, that's it. I told you
Goodness.
guys.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I've been up to.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Well, you're like, I don't know what to do with myself. I thought I had a good,
so
My
I wasn't
turn already.
ready
I thought I had a
for
good-
that.
I thought I had a good 30 minutes to,
My
do a
brain's like a
crossword
gaslight, man.
puzzle.
You got to let it turn on. To, get going
All right.
first.
We'll rev it up. Come on.
It's on.
Turn the crank. Click, 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 click.
Yeah. So past week, obviously, I have passed COVID. Thankfully, feeling much better now.
On your left.
Yep.
You passed it as in like the toilet?
No.
It just dropped out of you?
Can you plop toilet COVID? Is that how it works?
Actually, yes, you
it's-
can.
If it's brown, flush it down.
You actually can.
What about when it's green though?
Then that's really
still
bad.
flush
And you
it.
need
You
to
can
see a
still flush
doctor.
I think the rhyme goes, when it's green, check your spleen. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But anyway,
When it's red, you are dead.
It's a good rule.
we're learning some things today.
Yep. That's what they taught me in grade school. West Virginia education and all.
Things are making sense now.
Yeah. It actually does make sense. I like it.
So yeah, no, I am over COVID.
Yay.
Feeling a lot better now.
Good.
So.
Got your taste buds back?
I never actually lost my sense of taste or smell. That's the second time
good.
now that I've had
Good
COVID.
for you.
Didn't lose it.
So real quick, what were your symptoms?
I had a low grade fever.
Just to get personal.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, just lay it all out for us.
I had a low grade fever. I had sore throat, drainage, runny nose, congestion, aches.
So what do you recommend, Dr. Swisher, with all those symptoms?
Well, here's the thing. I partially ask because the other day my son had an allergic reaction. We think to like ibuprofen or some kind of medicine that the nurse at school gave him, and his eyes started to swell. So we had to go to the hospital and he had to get a steroid shot. And we contacted the nurse, and the nurse said, "Oh, well, swelled eyes can be a symptom for COVID." And we're
Shut
like,
your
gotta be
face.
kidding. You gotta be kidding me.
You imagine running into one of those people on the
Since
streets.
when?
since the day we told her he had
Did
swelled
your
eyes.
lights also flicker in your house? Because that's also a symptom.
That's also exactly. So I was just seeing if on the American side if it had developed there too, and like you had swelled ears or
I mean, how,
your hair-
how
your
big did they
hair
get?
change
Like,
colors.
Noticeably large?
It got pretty. His eyes
Like
got
Indiana
pretty
Jones
swelly.
Star Wars?
You guys went two different directions at the same time.
They're both Lucasfilms.
That's
They're
true.
like their eyes coming
That's
out of their
true.
sockets.
It's probably the type of COVID you get when you don't have grass. Is
Yeah,
start
that's true.
getting
Yeah.
inflamed.
Mhm.
No,
You
well,
gotta
here in America, our eyes stay the same size.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know.
But yeah, so those are the main symptoms. But it basically just felt like the symptoms of like the flu, basically. So
Yeah.
But all good, well past it. So Tuesday night, we went out to Charlottesville, which is about an hour or so from here, where they have an IMAX theater, and went and saw The Batman.
Yeah, you did.
Mhm.
And it's been quite a while since I have been to an IMAX theater. And man, like, I mean, the movie looks beautiful, but like the surround sound and like the bass and stuff like that, it was like insane.
Nice.
Like, and it was sensory overload for Kristen. Like, she was like, there were some moments where like she's like, whoa, that is too much. Especially there's like several high-pitched scenes, high-pitched tones. Like, she has a hard time with that, and so it was a little much for her. But overall, she still had a lot of fun. But yeah, the bass and stuff was intense. But you can learn more of my thoughts on the Batman in our spoiler cast that Pat and I recorded.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can check that
Spoiler
out.
class plug.
But
Spoiler class.
Oh, the
Dang
spoiler
it.
class.
You heard that too, huh?
As a Batman enthusiast, I'm curious. Well, I mean, I'm not a Batman enthusiast. As you are a Batman enthusiast, I'm curious to know what your rating was.
9.5 batarangs out of 10. Yeah,
Pretty good.
It was
Pretty good.
It was fantastic. Yeah, they did a great job with this. It's very gritty, dark noir detective type movie.
It does look like that in the previews. Like, it looks dark.
Yeah, it's fantastic looking. The story was great. Robert
Was it
Pattinson.
Patterson or Pattinson?
Robert
Pretty good.
Pattinson sold me as Batman. He did a good
Nice.
job. But I absolutely loved the movie, and I loved it so much I saw it a second time on Saturday.
Look out.
Yeah, so I went with my brother-in-law and father-in-law and my brother-in-law's brother. It's always weird to say, but yeah, we went to.
I was trying to think of an easier way to say that, but I don't think there is one.
Yeah, I don't think there is one. But we went out. I treated my brother-in-law, paid for his ticket because it was his birthday. So we all went out together and went to see it a second time. This time in a normal theater, but it's still just as good, if not better, the second time, which I very much enjoyed. But that was pretty much it on the real life side of things. But on the gaming side of things, unfortunately, because of schedule and stuff like that on Saturday, did not get to stream Ocarina of Time. So we'll be continuing that back up on next Saturday. But I did complete the story of Horizon Forbidden West.
Nice. Yes.
And that is a fantastic game. I know it's early in the year, but that is very much up for the GOTY for me.
If the year were to end today,
Yeah.
it would be it would be your game of the year, right?
That would be a factual statement. Yes.
All right, you heard it here, folks. Put that on the box.
Yep. But it's a contender for sure. Absolutely. We'll see what the rest of the year brings, but I absolutely love this game. I completed the story. I went back, and there are these little mini dungeons, if you will. They're called cauldrons in the game that you can go through and complete and unlock things. As a result, I went back and completed all those cauldrons. I may still go back and do some more side stuff.
Yeah.
You might as well get that plat.
Is this going to be another platinum run?
I don't think it's gonna be a platinum run because there's too many
Aw,
there's
come
too many
on.
little errand fetch quest things that I don't like. But
So
Do you have to do
there's
them for
not
the plat? Did you look?
no.
Do you not?
There's only like I think you have to do like some collectibles, but there's like get 1 of 10, and but there's some things where you have to do like all hunting grounds and all melee pits and things like
yeah,
that,
see, I haven't even touched any of those.
which are they don't take much time at all, and you don't need to get like the highest grade. You just got to get the bronze.
Okay.
Which is it's if you're slow at it and not quick at it, as long as you get the bronze, it's like for the gold or platinum, whatever it is, you have to do it in a minute. But like in bronze, you have to do it in like 10 minutes. So you have a lot of time to do it.
Do it.
It's cool. It's cool, like little side things.
Well, I'll take a look. I'll see if it's gonna be attainable for me to do it.
If you finish the story, I think all you have is just some, just chip away at it. I think you'll be able to get it.
Yeah. I do kind of want to, even though I am unfortunately going to miss out on the GMG VGBC for Uncharted. I do want to jump into those games still.
Yeah.
So
I think you should.
So we'll see. We'll figure out whether I want to keep going in Horizon. Although I do love being in that world.
Right.
It is a lot of fun. The story's great. Beautiful looking game. Yeah, so we'll see what I want to do about that. But I've also been continuing to move the needle on Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons. I'm probably about 60 or 70% of the way through that.
Nice.
So I may play some other handheld Zelda games in my spare time. We'll see.
Okay.
But I know that was one that was like a very high recommend to play. So, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So
So it's the first time you've been venturing into that game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Very first time playing it.
Cool.
There's a lot of the handheld ones that I haven't played yet. So we'll see what I do with that throughout the year. But that's been pretty much my week in a glance.
All right.
Patrick.
Hey,
Hi.
Yeah.
how's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna have mine's. I didn't have anything going on this past week. Nothing on the life front. Just been ho hum. My daughter, she's in like the stage crew for a play for her school.
Oh, so she's not in the actual play itself.
She was on stage once during like one of the main characters was thinking, and like all the stage crew like held up like word bubbles and they like walked around her, and she was one of them. That was the only time that she was on stage. Otherwise, she was doing all like the set, moving around and all that stuff. So that was on Friday night, and then they did another play, another showing on Saturday night, and then they did another one on Sunday. It was
Dang.
it was yeah. So I saw
Triple header.
I went to 2 of the 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I went the first night, and it was like first night jitters. The mic setup was bad, could barely even hear them. And then on Sunday, they had fixed everything, and I could hear everything and the storylines and the jokes that they had. It was Law and Order fairy tale.
Nice.
So they had a narrator that did cha-chunk, and
Nice.
then like this is at the courtroom, 10:36 a.m. They did all that stuff. And all of the characters were storybook kind of characters. Like there was Cinderella, Humpty Dumpty, Rumpelstiltskin, things like that. And they all had a part in the play. So it was just like a detective kind of thing. So yeah, that was fun to see my daughter on stage and doing something that she's likes. I mean, she's artsy kind of person. So she's been doing like drama, and she's been doing choir, and then she did dance for several years. So She's one of those that just likes to be up on stage and in front of the crowd. So so it was nice to see her up there over the weekend.
Cool.
On the gaming front, it's been a lull this past week. I mean, I finished Horizon, I finished Sifu, I tried to jump into Elden Ring. I played about an hour of it, and I tried to beat this first boss, and I died maybe 15, 20 times. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And so I put it down, and then a couple days go by, and I'm like, I kind of want to jump back into Elden Ring. And because so I watched a Twitch streamer for a couple hours, and they did not beat a single boss. They were on a boss for like an hour and a half, didn't beat him, and then just moved on to another boss. And then I turned it off after a half hour, having not beaten that boss. So I was like, and so it was just, I don't know why, but it was interesting to me. So I turned it on, and I was on this like balcony. I jumped down into this like huge room, kind of like a church room with no pews, and all of a sudden some character just like appears out of nowhere, and I like start to run away, and within like, I don't know, 2 minutes of me turning on the game, I already died. And I was like, never mind, I don't want to play this game. Forget it. So
Wow.
Uninstall.
Heard it was ridiculously hard.
I haven't uninstalled it yet. Because I don't know if it's just something I'd rather watch than play. Because dying that many times, it's a whole different story when it's you versus someone else. If I see someone else die and they're good at the game, I'll watch that. But for me, like I've never played these types of games before, so we'll see. I'm thinking about when I get my Steam Deck, it might be a game that the first game I'll get on it is Elden Ring, so I can play it wherever I am. But just like sitting down in front of my TV and dying over and over just doesn't sound very fun to me.
Yeah.
So, and I also didn't want to get in too many games because the new WWE 2K22 comes out this evening at midnight. So I am going to be jumping into that.
Very nice.
Yes, and really that's all. I haven't done anything this past week. Oh yeah, I did see Batman. So yeah, I saw Batman. You can listen to all my thoughts on Batman on the spoiler cast. But Too Long Didn't Read. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10 as well. This movie was amazing.
Nice.
Robert Pattinson was great as Batman. He was not, for me, as Bruce Wayne. But I still gave it a 9.5 out of 10 because the way that he portrayed Bruce Wayne, I respected, and it made sense for the story.
Yeah.
So,
and I think they're gonna go places with that character.
Yeah, and he's young. It's his like second year being Batman, so he was young, still figuring things out. So yeah,
sure.
That's it for me.
Respectable.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Ronnie.
I was just waiting for the introduction. Well,
Ronnie Johantis.
Who goes first? You go first.
Nothing's really happened in my world, honestly.
Liar.
Lies and deceit.
Nothing. Yeah, so the house officially is sold.
Wow.
That chapter is
Congrats.
closed.
Right.
Congrats.
We closed tonight, so it is officially sold, and that part is over, which is really nice.
Oh yeah.
It's so I don't know how long it's been since you guys have moved, but man, I will tell you what, it was. I think we started our move on a Sunday, and it was pretty much like Sunday to Sunday. I feel like I was doing something every single night, like carrying stuff, and it's just it was exhausting. Like I feel now like mentally drained from the whole process.
Yeah.
I am glad we sold it and that part's over. We're now living in the apartment. I think we've probably been in the apartment almost a week now. It's good, but it's different. I mean, it's just a whole different life. It's like I got picked up out of my life that was there and just dropped into another one, like with all the same people in it. I'm not really like a huge fan, like of apartment living, just because I would rather not, live around like a ton of people or anything like that. But it's been, pretty good. Like we haven't had any issues with, anything in the first week, obviously. Um, but no, all of our neighbors seem like really friendly. The the most difficult part is that we now have two cats inside. So we brought I brought our
yeah,
cat.
that's true.
I brought the outside cat in. This is her first time really ever being inside for, longer than a few hours. And up until today, actually, it was going fairly well. So Elizabeth's cat, Alita, she is always been an inside cat pretty much. But for the first, 5 or 6 days, she would hiss at Willow, at the outside cat. And then she would kind of run off and, hide in a closet or hide behind something or whatever. Today, for whatever reason, that all changed.
Uh-oh.
Alita has started to hiss and then charge after the outside cat.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's
do you think it's a territorial thing? Like, you're supposed to be outside. What are you doing?
So
here?
we were talking about that, and it may be because she's finally gotten, I guess, to a point where she's a little bit more comfortable with her surroundings. Like she knows that Willow's not like going to come after her or something like that. So I think we both kind of figured that she would probably be the dominant cat. But yeah, no, I honestly and I was telling Elizabeth this today. I didn't realize where my allegiances were right away. Right, it was like, oh, like these two cats and everything. The first time her cat charged my cat after it, I was like, nope, yeah, now I know where they are. Like, I'm gonna kill your cat.
That sounds about right.
Oh no!
But no, they didn't. They didn't really square off. She just chased the other one under the dresser, and they both, I think, I think her cat threw a couple of little skibbity paps at him, but nothing we had to really worry about. So it's really just about keeping them, making sure they're not like battling it out. When we're here, we don't have them separated. Every time they see each other, they end up hissing at each other now. Hopefully that doesn't last too much longer because it is pretty annoying.
Yeah.
And one thing I've never dealt with is, like, what do you do to correct a cat? Like dogs are easy. Dogs are easy, but cats just are not the same type of creature. I mean, they're different, different thing altogether.
Beats me, man. I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't really know either. And so we're just kind of trying to keep an eye on them.
Cats are kind of like vengeful and stuff. Like, you try to correct them and they'll wait till you're asleep and just be like, all right, now it's my turn.
They are like that. They definitely are. No, she's Elizabeth's cat has been for a long time the only cat in the house and never had to share any type of territory or anything like that. So it's all new to her, new place. Now she's sharing it with another cat. So yeah, I mean, I think as time goes on, it's just going to keep getting better and better. Like, they may not be friends, but we're hoping to get to the point where they could be at least, like in the same room and not really like have issue with each other.
Yeah.
Because we're in a pretty small space.
You need to make a little shirt that they have to wear at the same time. The like that parents do for their sibling children or whatever.
Like,
that's not gonna end that well.
And
these cats.
All right. Yeah, fair enough.
No, when we first brought him over to the apartment, we actually had them both in, obviously, those little cat carriers, and we put the cat carriers like facing each other, and we left them there for like a little over an hour, maybe 2 hours, just so they could see each other, like get aware of each other before we ultimately let them both out. So the aggressive part didn't really start till today. So we're hoping that doesn't happen every day. That will be horrible. Because like I said, I don't know how you correct a cat. I don't.
I mean, you can get a little spray bottle of water.
That's exactly what we were talking about. That's like the only thing. I'm going to get a squirt.
That's the only thing I've ever heard of. I mean, that in a apartment complex we used to live in, there was a cat that would run up to our screen door and just like shove its paws on it and just like try to rip at it. And so we're just like
spraying,
like just spraying its face. It got rid of it, but
yeah, I think we're definitely going to do that. The only issue is if Willow, if my cat is bad, she was an outdoor cat. Like I've seen her walk through the rain, like not even hurrying. Like I don't think water
like,
really. She doesn't care.
What's
about
this
that.
do to me? Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Alita, I think she will not appreciate the water at all. So
yeah.
So that's an ongoing process. But
maybe you just spray Alita every time, regardless of who's at
if
fault.
she charges my cat again, I'm gonna get a super soaker. One of those, like, Gatling guns.
I was so thinking that, like, just get like the huge like water tank on your back. You're just like the guy in Predator when he's mowing down the trees in the jungle.
Yeah.
So apparently cats don't like citrus or pepper flakes, and there are commercially available sprays for these smells that you can purchase.
Oh, you just sprayed the smell near him?
Are you telling him to mace this cat?
Basically. Yeah.
Time to mace Alita.
Or you can, it basically, like this article says, to use, obviously use a louder voice, clap your hands.
I tried all those things today.
Yeah. Spray. It does mention the spray bottle.
Once they were after each other, that didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter what I said.
And probably one of the bigger things is to reward good behavior. So
yeah, well, there's none of that happening yet.
Yeah,
so.
well,
we're good on the reward portion.
if that comes around,
yeah, if the day happens.
Elizabeth just walks in, you watching them like go at each other, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm waiting for the positive moment so I can reward them.
Say stop. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, good."
They got real close just now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean that's gonna be a work in progress. That is definitely gonna take some time. They haven't. Yeah. I actually thought until today, really, I thought it was getting like way better, and then today was like a horrible setback when they went after each other. So, on the apartment front, we have almost like I have my office set up. Elizabeth, we're in the same office. So we have the office set up, part of the bedroom set up. But outside of that, not much. It was kind of a house's priority number one. Make sure that is all in good order. Yesterday was the final walkthrough for them. So we had to make sure basically everything was done by Saturday. Sunday was the first day where we didn't have to like move stuff. So, I mean, we pretty much like just laid around, slept all day. Like it was great. And, but now that the house is sold, we, got to start, getting the apartment in order. Yeah. The worst part about the apartment is that I don't have a couch yet.
Ooh.
In my living room right now is a couple of dining room chairs.
Oh no.
I literally when I want to go game, I like just wheel my computer chair out there. It's the most comfortable chair in the house by a lot. Yeah, we don't have a couch. We decided to get a new couch. The one we had in the house was pretty big. So it would have taken up a ton of space in the smaller living room. Yeah. So we bought a new couch, but they don't deliver it until the 22nd.
Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness.
Oh man. Yeah. What are they making it by hand?
I'm not sure.
Amish folk
Amish
just
one?
like,
yeah, not sure.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I should have just went and picked it up. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I'm not picking anything else up and carrying it. Forget that.
Yeah.
So up until then, it's really just you just have to endure. But it's one of those things. So like late night playing video games on the couch, like that's my space, like that's my space to unwind for the day. Everybody has like their place that they'll go to that's like an unwind, or whatever. That's my space. So I don't necessarily have that yet. I kind of have like a makeshift space out there right now, but I'm really looking forward to getting the couch. So the couch we got is really nice also. It's a big, comfortable. It has like one of those Chase like lounge ends on it where you can just like lay out.
Oh,
like,
those are awesome.
Yeah,
yes.
it has that. It has a giant ottoman, which is like just massive. Like everybody will be able to use the same ottoman. Sweet. So It is like, I mean, it's prime time for sure. Like nice. we definitely did well on that. But yeah, no, we just got some boxes to put away and onward and upward.
Your new life.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I'm
Nice.
now I'm in the zone where, probably this week I'm probably going to get a new system.
Mm,
I'm going to probably buy the Xbox this week, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Chad
you
actually called me.
can you
My
buy
buddy,
those? Are those available just to
my buddy
buy?
Chad called me, I think on Saturday, and he said, "Hey, I was just at Best Buy and they have a bunch of new Xboxes in stock. Like, if you want to get one." And I was like, "Well, that's awesome, but I'm still broke." Like, like I'm still broke. They always tell you, what you're gonna make when you sell a house, but what you don't know is how much it actually costs to sell the house. Like, there is just nothing but costs, like, for one whole month up until you actually sell it.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I might check in to see if they still have some there. If not, I mean, I'm okay with waiting. But I didn't actually even hook up my Xbox at all
yeah.
when I got here. I just figured we'll wait until the new one comes. I mean, I don't think I
Yeah.
have like any games on there that like I'm, dying for or anything like that right now.
Are
The
you
last
gonna-
game that I played was Pokemon Arceus.
Oh yeah.
So, and I don't know if I don't think I talked about that. I did finish the game.
Nice.
So like
Oh,
I
alright.
captured Arceus, is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I finally caught everything and was able to actually like battle and capture him. And pretty much after that, I mean, there's really nothing left in the
Yeah.
game, honestly. It's kind of cool that you get him. You're like, oh, this would be cool to use, but then it's like,
For what?
oh, well, there's nobody to use them on. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
To destroy like helpless little Pokemon. It's like, I've got
Yeah,
Arceus,
I mean, you just
and
got,
let
like,
me kill this little Squirtle.
like by the time you're out there like fighting him, you already have a whole crew of murderers like just at your disposal. So, but yeah, I did finish it. I honestly I had a really good time with the game. At the end, it was a little grindy to try and capture everyone so you could fight Arceus and capture him. That took definitely longer than I thought it was going to take. I mean, I think I was somewhere around 110 hours on the game. So definitely put in some time on it.
All
Nice. Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't think I have that much more.
Now, are you on like the first floor or top floor or middle?
So we're on the second floor, but we are on the end, so there's actually nobody above us. One of the cool things about the apartment is since we're on the end, we kind of have like a private entrance. It's just us in another apartment, the stairs leading up to our area, and then we have like the vaulted ceilings because it's on the end. So
Nice.
it makes it seem a little bit bigger, even though it's like I went from like 30-foot ceilings to like these fancy 13-foot or whatever they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because that's
but it is nice.
That's the worst thing for me is like having neighbors that like if you have people above you and they're like stomping their feet all hours of the night.
Yeah, and that would be rough. Yeah, I mean, since we're on the end, we share like a couple of walls, but I haven't even heard like a single person in a week. So
Good.
I mean, they are either just like thick walls or we just have like pretty good neighbors. So
Yeah.
I definitely can't complain.
Nice.
There you
Very
go.
But yeah, I
nice.
think that's it. Honestly, I'm glad you guys brought up Elden Ring because it's a game that I do want to play, but I've heard that it was very difficult and frustrating to get started. I think it's like the Souls game type thing where
Yep.
It
it's
is.
just a
I just-
grinder.
I think I just need to go to find like the beginner's guide and a way to farm your level so that I can feel like I am halfway decent.
Yeah, I watched a couple of videos on it just to kind of see like what people were doing, and a lot of them referenced how difficult it was like to beat some stuff like early on.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably will watch a little bit more before I get the game.
Yeah.
I mean, when I see the videos
Yep.
of the game, I'm like, man, this looks like a cool Skyrim type thing.
Yeah.
So, but I know it's going to be one of those games. It's just a total vacuum of time.
Yep.
Of pain,
Yeah.
time,
A vacuum
crying
of pain.
and tears.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, since most of your time has been put into moving, selling your home, I would like you to rate your experience. right
Now,
here,
what kind
right
of scale are
now.
we talking here? Like
I
one
mean,
is horrible and
what do
10
you
is
feel
good.
comfortable with? Sure. No, 10 can't be good. 5 is okay. 10 is like, wow, let's do that again.
Couldn't be more confused now by the scale. Honestly, I don't know what's good now. If 5
Why
is
would
good, but 10
anyone?
is Like, what does
10
that mean?
Eight,
Are we on a scale of
eight,
5 to 10?
yep.
We are now. Yeah.
You asked. You shouldn't have asked if you didn't want to know.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
So-
I like on a scale of 1 to terrible, it was terrible. And
Hmm.
it's really just the whole process. Like you just don't realize how much stuff like you have accumulated over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like every closet like has stuff in it that you haven't seen in years, and like everything has to go. Like a decision has to be made and everything. It probably was worse because we moved into such a smaller apartment, and we had to like decide what we wanted in the apartment, what we were going to put in storage. So it probably made it a little worse because we couldn't just take everything to one place. I mean, like I did really well financially. That was like a 10 out of 10, but
Yeah.
no, but the whole process was just, it was rough. It was rough. It made me realize I'm
Well-
never moving anything again by myself. I will 100% pay people to do that. Like I'm well past what it takes. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't pay people to move you in the first place.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I
That
don't
does
know
not
what I was
sound
doing.
like you at all.
Don't even know what I was doing. Like I don't even know how I made that decision. All of a sudden, I just didn't make a decision, and then it like came time to do it, and I'm like, crap, I got to do this.
I don't.
That sounds
I don't
like
have
you,
anyone to pick this up for me.
That does sound like me. Like just wait until
Oh,
the
no,
day, and
I
then we'll
have
just
to
figure it
do
out.
things.
So yes,
Well-
I would say horrible, terrible,
So then,
worst time of my life.
so a 3 then.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that it was
so
so
many
horrible,
different scales. I don't know what's happening.
and I'm
So
so
make sure I got all of them.
so sad that it was so horrible that tonight that is the topic of the show. Moving. Homes, houses.
Homes.
That's right, folks. We are talking about moving. We're talking about homes. It might just be a really sad rating party where we're just like, this is stupid. And then 5 minutes later, we're like, all right, here's the housekeeping. We're done. Bye.
I will.
Or-
I want to start out by saying one thing. So, obviously, I said that the whole move was terrible, and it was. However, what the move means is the next step in life, the next step in the journey. That means
That's true.
wedding. That means looking for my house that I live in for the rest of my life. It means all of those things, which are fantastic.
Yeah. It's only, I mean, if it's terrible and awful now, it's only up from here.
That's exactly
So,
right. It can't be that bad again.
No, not at all. Especially if you hire someone to do it. Let me tell you,
Oh,
each time
I'm going to
I
hire
have
2 different
moved,
companies.
I'm pretty
I'm
sure the
fine
last time we moved, I just pointed. I was like, yeah, it goes over there. Do that over here. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, what
That's what you need
were
to
you
do.
drinking? You
Such a
feel like you had
smart
your
thing.
pinky out doing that. Like that goes over there. That
It
picture
goes
on
over
the
there.
wall.
Yes, please.
How high did you have your pinky up? Yeah.
No, the worst moment though, Ronnie, you alluded to it already when you move all your stuff and then you closed on your old house and you'd already put like so much energy into getting that thing set. You signed the paperwork, they signed the paperwork, and now you're in your current place and you're like, there's so
Still
much
so much.
to do. And
There's
that's
still
my
so
least
much.
part of moving is the sitting there and being like, we just put all this stuff into boxes days ago, however long ago, and now we have to take it all back out again. And then the stuff you need, you usually pack at the bottom of a box and you don't know which box it is. And then it's like, next time we move, we need to clearly mark these boxes better.
Yeah, you
And
say that everybody says that every time, but at the end,
Every
like on the
time.
last day, you're just like clearing off shelves into boxes, and like you just don't know where anything is anymore.
no,
You're
don't.
just trying to get it out the door.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, since birth, I've lived in 17 different places. in the past 10 years. In the past 10 years, I've lived in 7, and I've lived with both sets of parents, my parents, my wife's parents, and adopted parents, not like officially adopted, but our Brazilian quote unquote parents. So I've lived with 3 sets of parents. I've lived like in huge houses and little apartments. It's been such a variety, but each time I move, I hate it more and more. Like I'm just like, oh, this needs to be over right now.
It's because we're getting so old, honestly. Like we just can't even endure it anymore.
This is why in tribal cultures they just leave the old person to just dig their own hole and die. Because in tribal cultures they have to keep moving. They can't stay in the same place, and so
honestly, the old people are probably just fine with it too. They're like, just go. I'm not going through it again.
I'm sick of you.
Like by the time I'm old, like no, I'll just die wherever it is. Like it's fine.
It's fine. I'm just be right here.
Yeah.
Got my little
tree. I'm due anyways.
So yeah, I can tell you, it doesn't get any better with moving. So yeah. How about you guys? Patrick, I know you're a lover of moving. Tell us how you feel.
How many times have you moved one time in your life?
Yeah, I grew up in my parents' house and we did not move. It was the house I was born in. And then I got married and moved into the house that I'm in now. And I moved my bedroom into the house that I'm in right now. I had one bedroom that I had to move, and it was awful. It was awful. One bedroom, and I was like,
what a nightmare.
I was like, I don't ever want to do this again. And then my sister, she's on her 4th house right now, and you know what, her first house, you know, she needed to get out of there, and the neighborhood was bad. She had some break-ins and things like that. So you know, I wanted to get her out of there, you know, and so I helped her move, and I was like, man, this is I don't want to do this. And then so she moved again, and then I moved. I was like, well, I like this house, so I helped her move into that house, and then afterwards, I'm like, I'm never doing this again, ever again. I don't like the packing. I don't like the unpacking. I don't like having to put everything that is in the house into a van or a U-Haul and then drive carefully so it doesn't drop and everything. And it's like, and then so she moved again. I was like, you're on your own. You are on your own. You can hire movers, and that's what she did. And she hired movers, and now she's in her 4th house. And I do not plan on moving. I want to be in this house for the rest of my life. The neighbors are great. The neighborhood is great. The location is great. 5 minutes from all the major highways. And I think that I want to make this house work with what we have. You know, we're not going to have any more kids. So our house does not need to get any bigger. And that's all. I don't want, moving's the worst. From a scale of 1 to terrible, it is definitely terrible. I understand. Yeah, I understand if you're trying to get out of like an area, like I need to get out of this area. It's a bad neighborhood. I want to get closer to family. I get it. Sure, I get it. But I'm not helping you move.
You know what? The part that made it
you're on your own, sucker.
the part that even made it even like a little bit worse is that I really didn't want to do it. Like I did it obviously like for the financial benefit of doing it. Like I'm never going to keep the house, and it's probably not ever going to be that valuable ever again, honestly.
Right.
Like, but like that also like, man, that makes it suck that much worse. You're like, man, I personally always believed that I was a man that couldn't be bought. I was wrong. I can be bought. I can be bought for an amount of money.
Yeah.
And yeah. So like just moving out of it, like, man, like I wish I was there right now. But I mean,
they would not like that. The people that purchased your house.
No, they were
like,
they were lovely people, by the way.
Can I sit on that couch?
They kind of reminded me, I guess, of where like, you know, where I was at like a certain point in my life where, you know, like they were 2 pretty young kids. And I say like pretty young kids. I bet you they were mid-20s, maybe a little bit younger. Yep. They were engaged, you know, to be married in May. So That's coming up pretty quickly for them. But like, yeah, no, I mean, they just had they had it all like right there, you know what I mean, in front of them, and it was nice. It was nice to see they were really happy and excited about it.
Nice. All right, Marcus, rate moving.
Oh, I absolutely can't stand moving. I have moved. Let's see. I've moved 1, 2, 3, 5
Carry
or
the
6.
7.
Yeah, probably about 5 or 6 times.
All right.
In my life, and that's without counting, moving out of dorms in college and things like that. But I've moved different places, and each time is just an absolute drudgery to go through. I don't like having to accumulate a bunch of boxes and pack up everything, and then you've got to throw out a bunch of things. And unfortunately, I have had the not so nice experience of being evicted as well, which means you got to move out fast.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. That was a nightmare and a half to deal with. Because at least like when I know a lot of times, like, yeah, you have certain amount, like a certain time period you have to move out, but like when you're getting evicted, that time is cut in like a quarter. And so you've really got to rush to get out, and there are a bunch of things.
Might as well forget about labeling boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter at that point, and even then, like, you just start stuff that you probably would have said, I'll probably keep that, and we'll put it. No, you just toss it.
I mean, I can't imagine how fast. Like, if I had to do that, it's like it's taking me like 7 days to pack a suitcase. Like, I don't like. That just seems crazy to me. But I guess one of the good things about moving is you get rid of all the crap that you don't want.
Yeah,
that's what I was just going to tell you guys. In the 17 times I've moved, being able to thin out like it's prevented me from my family's sense of hoarding. Like, just it keeps you minimalist. You don't keep as much stuff. Now, I will say there is some regret. Like, man, I wish I would have kept this or that. But for the most part, it's nice to be able to thin out what you got, because there's so much stuff that you have that you don't realize you don't really need until you move. And then you move and you're like, or for us, like we move like 2 or 3 years later and it's still in the same box that we packed it in. And it's like, evidently we did not need this. And then you toss it and it's like a monkey off your back. So,
yeah, I remember moving, because we had to move out of my childhood home, and we had to move from there into a 1-bedroom apartment. And there were a lot of things that I had to sell and get rid of that I really did not want to get rid of. And in hindsight, really wish I hadn't gotten rid of them. Like, we've talked on this show about all the toys that we had growing up. Like, there were a bunch of things that, like, in hindsight, I really wish that I hadn't had to sell those or get rid of them.
Right.
And still had them. But had to do what I had to do, especially downsizing that much from a 4-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Downsizing was, the priority.
Well, if you wait until there's pretty much almost no time left, what you end up doing is just keeping every single thing and putting it in a box and just going with it. And you don't even downsize at all. You just box it. Let's go. We're not even doing this right now.
Yeah, that would have been
one thing out of the way, man. Let's go.
That would have been an absolute nightmare to do that.
I will tell you though,
no room.
There's this whole discovery thing that happens where you rediscover all the things that you've forgotten about over the years.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I found 2 remote control cars in my garage.
Oh,
that I forgot about for a while. I actually gave them to my next door neighbor because they have a little grandson or whatever.
Oh,
but cool. It was It was cool. I ended up giving away a pretty fair amount of things. My ping pong table that was in my basement. Nice ping pong table. Like I bought it years ago, but it's like still kind of like a new ping pong table. One of my neighbors was driving through the cul-de-sac and I was like, "Hey, do you want a really nice ping pong table?" And he's like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And he like came over to get it like a day or two later. Like we just wheeled it down the sidewalk to him.
Nice.
But it was like I got it
Nice.
off my plate, so I don't care.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we're not the only ones that have some experiencing. Have experiencing. Golly, I don't know how to talk. Sorry, this is what
Shaking the
happens when I
cobwebs off.
skipping an episode. Skipping an episode. All right.
It's like
Chris-
our first podcast again.
Yeah, Chris the Rock on Discord said, as a kid, I never moved. My parents bought a house in 1983 and sold it in 2021. Then in college and early adulthood, I lived in 3 different apartments. Then I got a condo with my wife in 2010. The only kind of interesting moving story is when I moved from the condo to our current house. We moved everything with our minivan. No movers, no truck. LOL. I can only imagine. I had help.
So much fun.
I had help from my 2 brothers-in-law and a couple friends for the big pieces. 2 bright minds, who shall remain nameless, forgot the milk in the fridge before moving it, and then moved the fridge down the stairs with the bottom up. Oh, gosh. Milk got all over the stairs carpet. Yeesh. We cleaned it as best we could and never went back. I hope it didn't leave a smell.
That's what you get when you don't hire movers. You have brothers and brother-in-laws who are just like, you know what? We're moving this fridge, and whether you like it or not, we're doing it our way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're just
For
like
sure.
whatever. Just like throw it down the stairs at this point.
Just go.
It's like, you
Yeah,
take what
whatever.
you can get.
Whatever it is. Like I know they're in misery too. I would have done.
I know, and that's one thing. Like if you hire or not hire, if you like get your relatives to help you out or friends, like you got to sweeten the deal with like, hey, we're getting pizza and beer
Yeah.
like, right afterwards.
I don't
or
think
whatever
pizza even
it
does
is.
it anymore.
It's like, all right, here is a $100 Amazon gift card for everything you move.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You gotta sweeten the deal somehow.
you get
Yep.
I've not had that
Nobody wants to
experience.
do it.
Nope.
Moving. I've when I look back, I realize for whatever reason we subconsciously always chose new people to help us move. Like we always found
You
Gotta
have to
rotate
new
them.
fresh
they're gonna
faces. You got to rotate it.
If you ask
Yeah.
again, they're gonna hate you for the rest of your life.
They're gonna be like, yeah, no, I
You
can't.
don't want
I
to be
can't
down
help
2
you.
moves to none with somebody though too, and owe them 2 favors like that. What a nightmare.
Yeah,
It's a big favor.
yeah, that's
It
true.
could be anything.
Now,
Remember that time I helped
what
you move
Chris
twice?
Need you to kill this person.
Chris is-
This the thing I had to do.
Chris's story reminds me of 2 things. One is that when Mindy and I got married, we got an apartment, but she could not move to the town we were going to live in until the school year ended where she was living. So there was a solid month where we didn't live together. We only saw each other on the weekends. And but when I eventually helped her move, I was a youth pastor at the time, and I also did not get movers. I did not get a truck. I took the church van and I filled that thing with all of her stuff. And let me tell you, when you have a church van where you can't take the seats out, it's like Tetris. And you just like
It is.
jiggle things around and just like, you're like, okay, the bed, the mattress, all this other stuff, it's obviously got to go on top, but everything else, you just squeeze it in,
And
you put it
gotta
under.
make sure
stuff.
you hold you hold the mattress with your hand while you're driving, because otherwise
Yeah,
it's gonna
for
fly
sure.
off.
It'll just flop right off. So yeah, I definitely had that experience with using a non-moving truck, and that was a mistake that I will never do again. The other thing that it made me think of when he talked about the refrigerator, when we had somebody move our refrigerator for us, they did kind of the similar thing. I don't think they held it upside down, but our refrigerator did not work for, I want to say it was almost a week. And I don't know if you've gone without a refrigerator for a
It
long time.
just started
but
working after a week.
it is the worst. No, we talked to someone who's like, oh no, you got to do this. And I don't remember what it was. We had to,
Some
I don't know,
coil thing
rub
or
its
whatever.
belly or move coils around, rub its tummy or something. And it started to work. But we had a number of
So-
days where we had no fridge and it
What
was rough.
What do you do with your life? Because usually when I'm bored, I open the fridge. Like what did you do? Open the fridge, like, huh, still not working.
It's always so
Nope,
disappointing
still-
too. You're like
still
looking for
nothing
something
there.
magical, and it's like, it's all the same crap.
I know. Why do I buy this?
What am I doing
What is
here?
this?
Why is
How
our
come I
milk
don't buy
keep going
anything that I
bad?
like?
Why does our milk go bad in 7 hours? I don't understand. Why this is happening?
7 hours.
No, I didn't move like a refrigerator. I didn't even move my washer and dryer. Like, no, those are part of the house now.
Yeah. Just gonna get the new. Yeah, I mean, you might as well. By the time you guys get your new place, you might as well just get all the
It'll be
upgrades.
worth whatever it costs at
Make
the
it
time.
nice and fresh.
It'll be worth it
Yeah.
to not have to have moved those. They were those like big front loader, like Samsung. Like they were really nice, but I was like, I'm not moving them.
I'm not moving that. Lord Zukor said the most moves seem to happen in the college years. And before he tells a story, he has a question. How many dorms did you move into and out of in college?
None for me.
Zero.
Wow, 0.
I commuted from my parents' house. I lived there all through college.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. I went to the University of Cincinnati, which is like 12 minutes from my house. I didn't get on campus. My parents paid for a little bit of the tuition, so I'm like, you know what? I can't afford it, and I don't want to put all that money into a financial aid, so I just commuted instead.
Plus, there's food in the refrigerator at your parents' house.
Yeah, that was always
their
food.
fridge.
That's the
Their
best.
fridge works.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I lived on campus all 4 years of my bachelor's degree. So, in and out 4 times each. So, 8 times.
Jeez, get out of here.
The dorms are small, at least, though. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say
small.
you really don't have that.
It's like moving
much
one
to
room.
move. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these
It's not
were
that
like
bad.
old school. These were trailer dorms that they built to be temporary, but became permanent for a very long time. They finally, within the past like 5 to 10 years, have knocked those dorms down, and built nice high rise
trailer
dorms.
dorm.
Yeah, they're literally trailers.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I would have loved that.
Trailer dorms.
I'll have to
put
send you a picture of what they looked like. But yeah, they're trailers.
Put a little plastic flamingo in the front.
A little bit of lights out there on the
little bit of-
They're
awning.
not like necessarily like a double wide, obviously. But
Oh, that's what I'm picturing. Why you gotta
I'm picturing just a whole
shatter my
camper setup,
dream.
basically.
Yeah.
why is that your dream?
Fire pit every night.
Because it is. Why do you gotta make fun of me in my dream, Mark? You meanie pants. I moved 4 times, but 2 of the years I lived in the same place because I lived in the freshman dorm 3 out of the 4 years that I was in college because I was an RA. But you still got to move out. You can't oh, this is going to be my room next year. I'm just going to leave my stuff. See you later. See you in 3 months.
What do you do with your stuff in the meantime? In 3 months, you just leave it in a truck?
I'm trying to remember.
That's the worst.
I really don't.
Temporary place.
I really
for
don't
3 months
remember.
and then go back.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I have no idea.
I'd have been sleeping on the floor, so I didn't have to take anything.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I really have no idea. Other than I had to have taken it back home and then washed my clothes for the first time in the school year. And no, it wasn't like that, but you know what I mean. So here's the story from Lord Zukor. When we were moving my grandma into a senior living center, the place didn't have a freight elevator. In fact, it only had 1 elevator, maybe 2 elevators in the entire building located in the center of the building. Grandma's room was the last room in the wing on the 3rd floor, so we had to walk about a quarter mile down the hall to get to the room. She wanted both her love seat and her full-size couch in her little apartment, and the full-size couch didn't fit in the elevator. So
Pivot.
Pivot. And so my cousin and I,
carry, man, that is a rough carry.
my cousin and I haul this thing up 3 flights of stairs, and it gets stuck. It gets stuck in the stairwell door.
Absolutely not.
No.
finally, we get the right angle to barely squeeze it through and then walk it down the quarter-mile hallway and safely into her room. The moral of the story is buildings need freight elevators.
We got to go on skateboards for a
I
quarter
would
mile.
open the patio door and just threw it out the window. Screw this.
That is a rough one.
Right after that, you done messed up. Ron definitely posted the gif of Ross going, pivot.
Shut up.
That is the worst. Trying to like if somebody else is on the other end and they're just like not picking up like the common sense things like to carry stuff. Like one of my buddies, like I'm going backwards through this like series of doors to put this couch that I used to have in my living room. It's actually stored like in a back room at one of my mom's businesses. And I'm going through these doors backwards and I got my hands on the outside and he is just continually pushing. And this is a huge leather couch. And I come back way through the door and the door handle is like right there. And instead of like, going easily around it, like he just pushes me right through. So my hand, like there was so much going on. Like my hand basically just went right through the doorknob.
Oh,
like I had a bruised like knuckle for like 3 days.
There's that moment because it happened when I moved a couch into my house. It doesn't fit. All of a sudden it doesn't fit. And you're like, everyone starts to become like geometry professionals. Or like, all right, if we sit there, if we do this, and then we take it at this angle, what about if you go this way and then turn it around like 600 degrees, we're going to be able to throw this in here. Like, then it's like, nope, that didn't work. Now we have to take off the entire door for this to come in there. And then it barely squeezes through.
That's also the most annoying thing ever where everybody's trying to solve the same problem out loud. You're like, would you all just get out of here? Once I figure it out, I'll get the strongest one of you to come in here and help me. But everybody take your opinions outside.
It's like, all right, on three, let's go.
Yeah, I think at one of the last places we lived, we realized our mattress, I think our mattress could go up, but our box spring was on the struggle bus because there's like no give with the box spring. It's got just the wood frame and all that. And we definitely had to like just create a divot, create a divot. No, not break the bed, but we created a divot in the ceiling, like where it came down a little bit and it was there. And it was there until we moved out. And the guy who painted painted the house for us, he put a little spackle there and made it look nice again. But it was what it was. We got our bed upstairs and then we got it down.
For our master bedroom, like it is like our hallway is kind of like a U-shaped hallway. So there's no way that we can get the box spring from the hallway straight into our bedroom. So we have to go into like 3 different rooms to actually get it into our room.
Do like a 38
right
turn.
It's like, all right, if we go into this room and then we change over here, go to the hallway, then go in here, and then once we change it in this room, then we can back it into
like a spotter up top.
and then we put it on its end and then we pull it forward 13 degrees and then pivot.
Yeah.
Couches are the worst because couches are always made to barely fit through doors. Like just barely, if there is any type of like hiccup like with this door, like you're not getting through.
Unless you have French doors, it's always going to be a tight squeeze.
It's always horrible.
What's really bad is when you've moved it in and it was like so easy to get in the house, and then you have to move it out and you don't remember at all how you got it in.
How we must have done
like, did we take off the feet? What did we do here? Did we cut it in half? I can't remember.
How did we do any of this?
I know.
The couch we moved was a like Pat and Mark. I don't know if you guys remember these couches, but they're leather couches. And everything reclines basically like on these couches.
Yep. Yeah.
But there's like a love seat with a console in the center. And when you pick this couch up, the console just falls forward basically. Like the console might as well be not even connected to the 2 pieces on the outside of it. So this thing's like a transformer you're trying to carry, like trying to shift this thing and all ends are just going in all directions. It's a nightmare.
My brother, he just moved to a new house in January. And one of the smart things he did was, we're just going to leave all the furniture. We're not taking all this. We're just going to buy new ones and then have that delivered and put into our new house. He's like, I'm not dealing with it.
It was $150 to have the couch delivered to this apartment.
Worth it.
$150. I mean, it's worth it. I mean, I paid it. I paid it. Like, it was after I moved all this other stuff. I'm like, oh no, I'm not picking that up.
Yeah, it's either $150 or 150,000 gallons of sweat and pain that you have to deal with to get those things done.
Either $150 or I'm mean to everybody around me for a whole day.
I know, for a week.
You'll burn through friendships rather quickly.
I know. You start yelling at each other, start saying things you don't mean.
Oh, I do want to say, when we were moving, the time I got the most mad, and like it's all my fault basically. So we have this U-Haul truck parked down at the apartment, and we've been moving stuff in now for, I don't know, over an hour, right? And all of a sudden a neighbor needs to leave, so that means the U-Haul truck has to be moved, which is just like, you just want to go down there and punch that neighbor, you know? It's like, just, you're gonna stay here and you're gonna like it. But I'm looking all over. I can't find the keys. I'm the only one that's had them. I'm the driver of the U-Haul truck. I can't find them. There's a million boxes everywhere. I'm like, man, where are these keys? Like, did they fall into some box? Because if they did, this car is never going to move. Like, this car's not going anywhere today. And I'm looking all over. I'm upset. Everybody basically is just trying to like look for the keys and like calm me down, which only makes you more mad when people are trying to calm you down.
Yep.
And after looking for a while, they were in my back pocket.
Oh my!
Why were they in your back pocket?
I apologized to like everybody. I felt terrible. I feel like I was even mean to my mom, and I was ashamed of myself. Yeah, I don't know. I never put keys in my back pocket.
That's
a weird place to do that.
Yeah.
Well, all commonalities go out the door when
nothing makes sense
when you move. Yeah.
Bacon Forbidden West on the Discord said, my first wife and I lived on our acreage for almost 15 years. After my divorce in 2008, I moved 7 times in 10 years until we bought this current house in 2018. I am a moving pro. Funny moving story. The first apartment after getting divorced, I came home to water running out of the front door and water running out of the apartments below me. I lived on the 3rd floor and my water heater burst and flooded my apartment. And the 2 below me, LOL, welcome to the neighborhood.
Sounds like the work of the Wet Bandits.
Wet Bandits.
They struck again.
You do the thing again, Marv. I hate it when you do
a calling card.
Awful. The first time I installed a dishwasher, I definitely had that happen. At least I was at home when it happened, and I had just put new flooring down in our kitchen cleaned it up as quickly as possible. Did all the stuff. The next day, the sun came out and it was shining down on my floor, and I saw the little bumpies in the cracks of the floor that I had just done, and I was like, you know what? That's my floor now. I'm not.
Yeah, you don't go back. I mean, just live
no. And guess what? Whoever I sold it to, that's what they got.
Yeah.
I was like, that stinks. It's the worst. Yeah. The worst. Let's see. You done messed up. Ron. I haven't lived many different places. When I was in high school, I had to move from the house I grew up in to an apartment and then to a house on the edge of our county. The entire process was awful, and the new house was objectively nicer, but for a number of reasons, I have only bad memories of it. And the location did not help. 15 minutes by car away from the bus stop meant a lot of early mornings my senior year in high school.
Whoa, 15 minutes?
From the bus stop.
Gross. Like a dirt trail.
Just to get on the bus.
Yeah. My kids have their bus pick them up in our driveway.
He's gonna have one of those traveled 18 miles in the snow uphill both ways stories though.
Oh,
that's
for
what,
sure.
That's what Ron had.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
For sure. I had a 15-minute walk to my high school from where I lived. I grew up in the same house, kind of like you guys did. Same house, or same as you did, Patrick. Same house all my life. In 15 minutes, I could walk to high school, but we still rode the bus in winters and when we were extra lazy.
Yeah.
You know what drove me nuts is the fact that, like, for the better part of my growing up, I lived 5 minutes from my high school. Like an
Wonderful.
easy walk. I moved in 7th grade, 7th to 8th grade. So, and then we moved clear across town. So I had to take the bus for the better part of my high school experience.
Oh, it's magical.
It's
The
just
bus.
frustrating after living right
learn
near
a
the
lot
high
on the
school
bus,
all my
though.
life.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
learn a lot on the bus.
You do. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to when I have children, I'm gonna like try to not let them ride the bus because you don't learn anything good.
That is correct.
That's exactly where all of our kids learn the bad stuff.
Yep.
But when you have kids, you're like, yeah, I'm not taking to school every day. You're going to the you're
Just
taking
go
the
and
bus.
learn the crap.
Yeah, you're gonna ride the
I
bus.
survived. Let's see if you can.
Yeah.
It's a social experiment.
Yeah. Get them some street smarts.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Yeah.
Last one from our joiners. 1 second while I reference the Twitter sphere. Eddie Luis is plotting WorldCon at Eddie Luis. It's quite a name.
Yeah.
They do moving differently in Edinburgh, Scotland. Stairs,
Sorry,
no
Ash.
problem. Yep, sorry. Grand piano plus 5 flights of stairs. Less of a bother than getting a crane. We'll get 4 guys and carry it up. Narrow switchback at top turning, slight problem, but Rab, the smallest guy, will just climb over the rail, straddle over the 5-story drop, and we'll use him to pass the grand piano overhead across the switchback. No problem. Most astounding thing I've ever seen. Oh man, that does
How many
not
pianos
sound
have they moved?
safe.
Like 100?
Professionals.
Yeah, no.
I have
No
to see
kidding.
this in action. Like
I
I
that
would
know,
have burned the
yeah, I need
piano
to-
before I
I need to
left.
see the video. That's crazy.
That's a serious move right
insanity.
there. If you got to move like a piano,
A piano.
that's some serious stuff.
That's
a
the Major
grand
Leagues
piano,
right
no
there.
less.
A grand piano. I don't even know what that means.
A
It's
bigger
the
one.
one that
The
has the
sucker's
big
huge.
flap, the
It's
big
huge.
flap that goes up. Yeah, it's just grand. It's glorious.
It's grande.
Yeah, I think the only time I've seen
Grande.
something super crazy is when I got this couch we currently have. As you guys know, both of my steps up to the second floor are spiral staircases. There ain't nothing fitting in a spiral staircase. We do one of the spiral staircases is outside, so you get a little leeway with some things, but beds, couches, none of that is going up the spiral staircase. You literally have to lift it up through our second floor balcony. And when these 2 scrawny guys that brought our couch came and said, all right, where are we putting this couch? And I'm like, up there. And they looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, I paid for it to get delivered and be put up there. So you better hop to it, buddy.
Getting my money's worth
Now,
here.
granted, I had to sweat and I had to help because if I didn't, they were going to be like, sorry, we can't do this. But these guys, we had to put it up in 2 pieces. And I want to say one of the pieces was significantly heavier than the other. And at one point, the one guy and I were at the top and we were holding onto the couch for dear life while a guy had to run and get a stool to stand on top of the stool to push the couch up high enough so that we could hold it. And then he come up with us and then we drag it, all 3 of us, over the banister.
Sounds like that baby's going to be up there forever.
It's going to be up here forever.
Right.
That is correct.
Permanent
Not going back
fixture.
down.
It was craziness. And there was a point where I like pretty much just stuck my feet on the banister's made of like stone. So it wasn't like it was just going to snap off and I was going to fall over the
Now I
edge.
just feel like you live in a
But-
castle based on everything you've said so far.
Yep. We have a moat. We have a drawbridge.
Spiral staircases. There's an
Spiral
archer at the
staircases.
top of one of the towers.
Patrick's going to be able to attest to it when he gets here in a
Lower
few
the
days.
drawbridge.
Yep. Patrick is here. Prepare the way. Yeah. Your mother was a hamster. Your father smelled of elderberries. All right. I'm not going to say that to you, Patrick, just so you know.
Sure you will.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
might.
I expected.
Do you guys have any crazy furniture moving craziness like this grand piano story?
Not
I
like
got
that.
nothing. I got nothing beats a grand piano.
Yeah, it's just hard to beat that.
That's a grand
Yeah.
story.
You win.
Yeah, you win the night.
Congratulations. You did it.
Sorry to have come to you with our small moving stories.
Yeah, our small baby stories of I had to pick up a box and walk it down the street and put it in another place. It was hard.
Started going into Mickey Mouse right there.
Yeah. Hey, pal. All right. Well, I think that's all for our mayhem of moving stories and fun. As is tradition, some housekeeping where we offer towels, fluff pillows, topped with Andy's candies, and tip you off to the GMG news you need to know. The GMG stream team, of course, offers content and conversation from Sunday to Saturday on Twitch. Check out Chris, who's currently playing Horizon Forbidden West. Marc is playing Zelda games. And I myself am playing a potpourri of games, whether on Game Pass or GMG VGBC games or whatever. Maybe this week, if you're paying attention, you may see me playing a game or two with that old Hollywood Bones, perhaps.
Mayhaps.
So feel free to check us out on twitch.tv. Links are in the show notes. Streaming's not your thing. You can tweet with us on Twitter and discourse with us on Discord. And then finally, if you are the giving type, please rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Podchaser and Spotify. All three, no ors, all ands. It does help us to reach new joiners. Whether you want to give us stars, exclamation marks, feedback, an encouraging word, we hope you will let your voice be heard. Speaking of what should be heard, we are actually still, whether you believe it or not, continuing to unveil the GMG
This feels like part
100
of the
list.
show now.
It pretty much is. And
Like
so
we just
we
do
have
this
some
every time.
songs.
Is it though? Because half the time we don't do it.
That is true. That is true.
Never gonna
I thought I was going to like 25 songs when I got back.
So yes, we have some more song picks to throw out there so that we can build our top 100 music list for all to hear and listen to. Finally. So my pick this week is Bridge Over Troubled Water. No,
That's not
that's not the
true.
right one. That's not true. That's next week's.
There you go.
Spoilers.
The Sound of Silence
There
by
it is.
Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Indeed.
That's a good one.
So Paul Simon basically wrote this song in his bathroom, turned off the lights for better concentration. The main thing about playing the guitar, though, was that he used to sit by himself and that he would just play and dream and was always happy doing that. And he basically would treat it like an echo chamber. He'd turn the faucet on so that the water would run, and it was very soothing to him. And that's where he came up with the initial words, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
He was the initial wet bandit.
Yep, indeed.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is pretty much a plop song.
Yeah. I've come
All
to
right.
talk with you again.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's next?
I'll go next. My pick this week is a song by Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline.
Apparently this was written for his Neil's then wife, Marcia, but he needed
What?
Yeah.
Why did you say that name?
Marsha.
I want you to remember at what point this was written. It was like 1969. Yeah.
Psychedelics.
Yeah.
100%.
But he needed a 3-syllable name to replace and have in the song. And so he immediately thought of John F. Kennedy's daughter, Caroline. Obviously,
Yeah, who doesn't think of that for a 3-syllable name?
I'm gonna think of someone's daughter for this song that I'm writing for my wife.
Who brought the freak?
Psychedelics.
he saw her picture. He saw her picture on a magazine cover, basically, and was like, "That's perfect, 3-syllable name. There you go." And it stuck, and it's not only been a staple of his. It's a staple at various sports stadiums and things like that. I know my neck of the woods wow, it just left me. That's really
You've
bad.
moved like 30
Virginia?
times. So
Lynchburg?
No, not Virginia. Not Virginia.
New
Which one?
Hampshire,
No.
Boston,
Yes, Boston.
New England,
The Baston.
France,
The
Were you
park,
Cat Pack?
Fenway.
Clam
Fenway.
chowder.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Fenway
Park.
Pack.
the Green Monster.
That's bad.
Right.
That's really bad that I forgot that. Yeah. So Red Sox games, Fenway Park. That's a tradition for them to sing "Sweet Caroline."
Mm.
So
Cool.
that's what happens when there's a lockout.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, that's rough.
We don't talk about lockouts.
First
First
rule.
We don't
of
talk
lockouts.
about talking about it.
Roddy, go please.
Okay, mine. My song. A pretty good chance they were on the same drugs. It is.
Probably.
It is "Riders on the Storm" by the Doors.
So this was actually inspired by a country song called "Ghost Riders in the Sky." Have you ever heard that?
I have. I've heard. I think the Highwaymen did a version of it, or
Yep.
Johnny Cash maybe only.
Yeah. So they were inspired by that song, and the lyrics were brought to rehearsal by Jim Morrison, of which a portion of it refers to a hitchhiker killer, because they were obsessed with all of those things back then. But yeah, basically, it was inspired by another song, country song, "Ghost Riders in the Sky."
Jim Morrison, remember the 27 Club?
He is. He died in France, which is where he is buried. They've actually had to lock away, like no one's allowed to access his gravesite now because they were vandalizing it too much, trying to take pieces of it away and things like that. So
Yeah,
now
I know he
nobody's
was
allowed to see it.
Big time popular, even at the time that he passed.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah,
Marcus.
so my pick for the song is The Police's "Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic." Yeah,
That's a good one.
love that song. And the version that everybody knows, the recording, is actually the demo take that Sting recorded, and the other members of the band just recorded their parts on top of it because they tried so many times, tried so many different arrangements, and it just wasn't working. They couldn't find a sound that sounded enough like the actual Police sound. So finally they just got so fed up with it that they're just like, okay, let's just take the demo that Sting made and we'll just build off of it. And that's what they put on the record.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is it.
All righty then. Pat, Mark, Ronnie J, along with you. Yes, you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. Go
Yes,
get your good
you.
morning this week. And may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.